This short video post provides a demonstration of the Apex debugger. The particular scenario we're going to look at here in the demonstration is one where an ISV is looking to diagnose a potential issue within packaged code that has been deployed to a customer or subscriber org as part of a managed package. So the starting point for the demonstration here is our subscriber overview page within the license management application, a tool used by ISV partners to manage licenses, as the name would suggest, but also gives access to sandboxes or production environments where customer users have granted login access. So for our demonstration, we can see we have a sandbox and we have a particular user who has provided or granted login access. So we log into the customer sandbox. We can access the Apex debugger from the setup menu and very easily initiate a partner debugging session. And how we'll do that is we're going to drag this icon into the Force.com IDE running within Eclipse, of course. And what we'll see immediately is that the code for our managed package, that the code we're looking to debug, will be downloaded and unzipped into this particular workspace. And let me just close that. If we open up the project that's been created there, you can see, of course, there is no unpackaged code from the subscriber org, but there is the metadata components within the package that we're looking to debug. So if we consider a scenario where there may be an issue with a particular page, perhaps it's the home page that is problematic within this particular customer org. We look for the home page controller class. We can now put a breakpoint here. Let me just toggle a breakpoint on one of the earlier lines in the initialize method. If we open the debug perspective within Eclipse, this is where we can see the list of breakpoints that may have been set. We can see variable values and so forth. So what I'll do there is just quick relaunch the debugger. You can see now we have an active debugging session. If we were to refresh this page toward the right, we can see that particular active session, and we could choose to kill the debugger if we wish to do so from there. But what I'll do now is open the page here up in the Salesforce application. And there we are. The breakpoint has been initiated or been hit, whichever term you prefer. And we can see that the actual processing, the load of that page has been suspended whilst we run through whatever debugging activities we wish to conduct. And of course, as one would expect, we have available to us the ability to step into, step over, step out of code. But we can interactively debug whatever issues there may be here, and this can be critical for partners who are dropping packaged code into subscriber environments, and being able to firstly understand and debug issues within the code itself, but also to understand and debug issues that may relate to the interaction between the packaged code and the code that may well exist within the environment. So where there could be complicated triggers, it can be very important very significant for ISV partners to very clearly see where problems lie in that the gray area that sits between the packaged code and the subscriber org code itself. So what we're able to do, of course, again within here is we can start to look at the variable state of any of our instance members within this particular class. We can run to the next breakpoint and so on and so forth. So very useful interactive debugging tool here. So a few caveats to be aware of. Firstly, the Apex Debugger is available only for sandbox environments, so this isn't for production use, this is for sandbox access only. It doesn't currently support asynchronous entry points, so at feature methods, queuables, batchables, schedulables, all these types of asynchronous Apex entry points are not currently supported. And of course, there is, I'm afraid, a cost associated to the Apex Debugger of approximately $18,000 per annum, which is a significant amount. For ISV partners, however, the deal is somewhat better in the sense that an ISV partner will gain access to one Apex Debugger license that can be used within customer sandbox environments only in one session at a time. So debugging can take place only by one user at any given point in time. So finally, actually, let me just let that thread complete, and we can see the page loads in the background. So final point of note, there is a permission necessary here for a given user to actually work with the Apex Debugger. So for an ISV, this will be set rather against the user record and the license management org, which would be any org that has the license management application installed within it. For non-ISV users, presumably this would be simply added to the user in the environment in question. So Apex Debugger adds some incredibly powerful and useful interactive debugging capabilities. However, there are, of course, costs and constraints to be considered in its use. Thank you.